Hello learner, welcome to Manifested e-learning platform. We are still continuing with our topic on three-dimensional geometry. Today, in our today's lesson, we shall look at further solutions on angles between a line and a plane to give the learner an inner in-depth into the topic. So the lesson is basically further solutions So as I have said, the objective is to give the learner an in-depth understanding So it's to give the learner an in-depth understanding of questions involving a line and a plane. So as usual, I'll have my figure. So let's start with the first question number 7 so that I don't have the monotony of writing many of them on the board before solving them. So this is the cube shown. The figure below shows a cube PQRS. PQRS and T are the midpoints of the respective lines. You go to 7, state the image under translation, to translate, to move, to translate. Like if I have this point, I can translate it. I'm moving it through a certain distance. So we have the first one, AE through AB. AE through that distance. You are moving AE through that distance. You see where it will go. This AE, since it is a cube, it is the same distance as EF. So it will be as if you've moved it right to BF. Right to BF. So the image here for the first one will be what? You'll translate it down to BF. That will be the image, because they are asking, state the image. So this is the image. Under that translation, we come to PS learner. PS, where is PS? PS is this one. That line, PS through EF. PS through EF. PS through EF. You look at that distance. Whatever they are telling you is that distance. So once you translate through that, it will end up as image QR. It will end up on the floor, on the bottom of the cube. So you'll get the image as QR. Note that carefully. They are now telling me PD, PD. You note that carefully. P and D through DC. So this is the distance they are talking about. So eventually, PD through DC. So the relative position of P, after translating, it will come to the bottom of the cube. You'll end up having QC. you'll end up having under translation QC, because this distance is the same as the distance PQ. So you'll end up with QC. We move to another one, ES. ES, you're talking of this. And what is the distance? PQ. ES through PQ. ES through that distance. So E will finally rest at F and S will rest at R. So you'll end up with E. They are talking of ES through PQ. So E will end at F and S will end up at R. So you'll have image FR. FR. We move to the second question. They are talking about, the question talks about number 8. Number 8. Name the angles. The angles. Name the angles between AE and FC. B, PS and RF. C, ES and RB. So straight to our diagram again. Angles between lines. Angles between lines. I say the objectivity of the lesson is to get an in-depth learning into angles between a line and a plane. A line and a plane. Finally, the line you are getting, it's landing on a plane. So let's start. AE and FC. AE and FC. AE and FC. Lana. AE and FC. So if you are given two lines and you want to find the angle between, you simply translate one line to the plane belonging to the other line. So I'll take FC. I'll take FC and I translate it. I move it up to the plane where we have AE. So if I move it there, this C will come at D. Isn't it? They talked of AE and FC. So it is FC that I'll move to that plane. I'll move FC up to the plane belonging to AE. FC. So it will come somewhere here. You'll end up with angle AED. You move one of the lines. Also, I can move. You can get two answers, not here. I can either move FC to the plane belonging where AE belongs. I'll get the first angle, the angle, not the angles you get. It cannot only be one angle. So if I move FC to that plane, I'll have angle AED, angle AED. That was a case where I moved FC to that plane. But I can move AE downwards. I can move AE downwards. I'll end up with the angle BFC. I've moved AE to the plane where FC belongs. So I'll end up with angle BFC. Angle BFC. We move to the second one, PS and RF. PS, RF. Where is RF? PS, RF. PS, RF. PS and RF. PS and RF. So you note R is here, PS and RF. PS, RF. I'll move it RF up to that plane. I'll end up with this angle. I'll move RF to that plane where PS is. I'll end up with the angle PSE. Angle PSE. Alternatively, I can move PS downwards. I can move this PS downwards to this point. I'll end up with this angle. QRF. QRF. Note what is happening. If you are given two lines, you translate one of the lines to the plane belonging to the other line. So we come to ES. ES and RB. Where is RB? RB. ES. This is RB. ES and RB. So translate ES to where RB is. You'll end up with this angle, BRF. You'll end up with angle BRF. Note that carefully. So that is where I translated to the bottom, but I can now translate RB to the top. If I translate RB to the top, I'll end up with the angle ASE. Angle ASE. Note that learner and what is happening. You will translate one of the lines to the plane belonging to the other line to get the respective angle. Move to number 9. Name the projection. Name the projection. When they talk about a projection, it's like an image. When you talk about light, name the projection. Name the projection. Name the projection. Name the projection of a PR on plane BCGF, and lastly B ST on plane BCGF. BCGF, the projection. So you go straight to what we have. I said a projection with something like a shadow, which we talked of in the initial lesson. So you go to PR. You are projecting on BCGF. So PR. When you project it on that PR, on that plane, the plane below, you are talking about PR. Dropping a perpendicular, you land at Q. So the projection of that will be QR. The first projection of PR, the projection of PR, you are talking about PR on that plane will be QR. We move to the second one, ST on the same plane, ST. You note that carefully. ST, this S will come to R, so it will be RT. You'll get that image down there. It will be RT. T. So as I sum up the lesson, the objective, look at what was happening. When we dealt with the images, like state the image under translation, note what we are doing. Name the angles between lines. You translate, you move one of the lines to the respective other line plane where the other line belongs. That's why we are able to get two answers. So, and in the first one, always note what is happening. In this one, we are moving this line, translating it to the plane where that one belongs, or translating this line to the plane where this one belongs. So it is vice versa. So for the assignment, you'll work out in mathematics for Kenyan schools. By Patel, you'll work number 10, and number 11. So learner, at that juncture, ensure that you've objectively got what we mean by a translation, how you can get the angles between two lines which belong to different planes. So at that end, I hope you get through the solutions correctly and have a nice time as we end the lesson on this platform. Thank you very much and bye.